On the front page of the Daily Nation, license to kill. That is what have the newspaper there, Mheshimiwa, with you. On the front page of the Daily Nation, license to kill. It's already a nightmare because a directive to zero-rate motorcycles saw as the ensuing chaos. Now it's a world of impunity where border riders across the country are mostly unlicensed. They speed on the wrong lanes, jump traffic lights, and ride on pedestrian excess passengers and huge loads right under the noses of police officers. And the feel of a trail of broken limbs, avoidable deaths, and devastated families. On the splash of the Daily Nation here, as you can see, we have these two gentlemen enjoying their ride. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the other side probably 7 or 8 sacks of maca. And this is quite common on our Kenyan roads. So statistics here, or is that 1 in 3 Kenyans who died in road accident was either riding on a motorcycle or either hit by two that hog roads and pedestrians walkways across the country. But perhaps the whole issue of border, can something be done about it? I mean, you are the legislators. A law can be amended to streamline this.
As far as it's not the issue of probably restricting importation, will allow importation for us to be in the lower bottom of the economic pyramid. But then it is the issue of our police officers on the roads. So
but again, it's also come with the issue of personal responsibility. I mean, look at these two gentlemen. Look at this.
Yeah, but I'm certainly sure that with all the traffic police officers currently, one police officer may have spotted, but did nothing. Ran to a bus because the bus may be able to give a little bride a motorcycle. Because this motorcycle is earning around 100 shillings a day or 300 shillings a day. So he can only maybe get a police officer. A bus can get 1,000 for the police officer. So that is why they run to the buses and leave these guys scot-free. So I think it is an issue of traffic rules. Yes.
All right. Okay, let's cross over. Haiti police deployment still on, insist Kindiki. The Kenya government is planning to deploy 1,000 Kenya police officers who will be sent to Haiti as part of a UN-backed security. The government will soon send a contingent of police officers to Haiti despite the escalating violence in the Caribbean nation. Kindiki said yesterday that all is set for the deployment of the 1,000 officers, all male, taken through standard operations training. They will be deployed to Haiti as part of a United Nations. Security have already expressed concern over the delay in sending the officers to the nation. That is, the UN and the US have already expressed concern over the delay in sending officers. This is what you have here. The Prime Minister was also here a fortnight ago. Discussion with President William Ruto. This is on the front page of the Daily. You say something of this, Mheshimiwa? The deployment of police officers to Haiti.
I'm an expert in terms of security.
Right.
But I'm sure those who will be sent there are concerned. The government is concerned. The president is concerned. So I think I will give them, they have done enough research that our men and women who will be deployed will have guaranteed. Yes. So Kindiki, keep on insisting, but men and women must be guaranteed, by this government. Because the government responsibility is our properties and our lives within and outside our borders. Yes.
Very good. Okay, just to remind you, for Joshua Kimilo, who is a member of parliament of Haiti constituency, we have got Haiti, and now from Haiti constituency. soon, yeah.
He will be the one to come and
tell us.
Tell us about Haiti and Haiti. You know, maybe they are even deploying to Haiti. You never know, you know.
Maybe.
In Machakos, yeah? Maybe something.
Mr. Joshua, please hurry. Sankok is waiting for you here, the geopolitician. Let's take a look at what's on the front here. The Standard is a story of infidelity, murder, and bizarre rant. That is the story on the splash of the Standard newspaper. Infidelity, murder. The story goes that Evans Kosgei made scary remarks about his wife, Jacqueline Kimayo, accusing her of cheating and warned of their consequences. Tagged newsrooms and the police. Then he did the unthinkable and hanged himself. These are the two people in question. So we have got Jack, 29 years old, and the husband, Evans Kosgei, who was 33 years old. We talked about it. That is what you have here on the front page of the Standard issue of mental health that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Mheshimiwa, perhaps you can talk about this. When you hear, you know, couples killing themselves and husband taking, I mean, because of infidelity and all that, I mean, mental health quite seriously in such a situation, because they were a young couple. And when you come of accusation, have somebody to just come out and, you know, to help this story talk to the society. Again, 2022 elections, the opposition coalition names a former Busia Senator, Amos Wako, a former nominated senator, forensic expert for the panel to audit the disputed election. That is what you have here on the page of the Standard newspaper. What's cooking between Wanjigi and Oparanya? New twist in ODM succession politics is Deputy Party Leader Wycliffe Oparanya meets Jimmy Wanjigi amid rivalry with the former Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho. This
yeah, of course, with the ODM,
yes,
they have a license to such scrambles every now and then,
yeah,
fighting for power that does not exist. Because what power are they fighting for? They don't have power. I editing the 2022
yes
general election. Audit the 2025 AUC election. Because that is the that is where the direction they are taking.
Yes.
So there will be the election for AUC chairman, that is in 2020. I'm totally supporting Raila Omolo Odinga.
Yes.
And we are sure of winning. But in case we don't win, I will assist them. Yes.
But what do you think? To audit the 2022 general election, what's your take on this? It's
what is the
that has been there for quite some time. Do you think it should be audited, or we just...
So what is the end game after auditing? So what? Yes. I think our election is one of the best in the region, and in fact in the whole of Africa. So it is good to audit so that we can get some, unless and come up with the recommendation how to not to lose election to their own as yes. You audit. You now see why you lost the election, and then come up with strategies of to lose an election.
Yes. Perhaps just take stock on what really happened.
Yes.
Okay. This is what you have on the front page. People Daily. People Daily is more of the front page of the Daily Nation. Highways of Death. The story on the People Daily is front page of the Daily Nation. Report reveals that roads in Nairobi, which have recorded the highest number of deaths and injuries of border riders, and Fatalities blamed on refusal by operators and customers to wear a helmet and poor enforcement of traffic rules. This again seems so familiar to us as
but there is not the issue of it is enforcing traffic rules.
Enforcing traffic rules.
I've gone to Rwanda.
Let's just, we as Kenyans, it's personal responsibility. I mean, we've seen how they drive along our cities.
In Rwanda, Kigali, everywhere there is cameras. The moment you break any traffic rule, you'll get an SMS asking you to pay 25,000 Rwandanese franc. Meaning you already have in your phone, you know you are offense, you are guilty, you will pay to the government. But here they pay. What will happen? They will bargain. So if they take 50 shillings, and I'm making from the client 200 shillings, so I prefer paying the 50 shillings. You know, it's business. So enforcement of traffic rules. Go to Kigali, these borders within the city. But then everybody is following traffic. Only 2 passengers, everyone. Passenger have an element, and it is compulsory. And it is the cameras that will see you. It is not an issue of policemen around and seeing where the policemen are and how to bribe them. How do you bribe an SMS? How do you bribe the whole government? You are border have been taken the registration number, you don't pay, within maybe 3 days, you are given 3 days, that border become property of the government.
And you also find yourself behind bars.
Yes, of course.
So it's all about laws.
If you don't enforce traffic rules, what do you expect? What do you expect? People will break those rules.
I get your point.
Yes.
I get your point. And I mean, it's so hard even for other people, but yes, we have it. Azimio Picks team, just talked about, the team is here by led by Amos Wako, Piwandai, and Judith Pareno, who will be interesting times ahead. Muslims start Ramadan, holy month of to culminate in Eid al-Fitr celebrations that is coming along from now. Okay, so that's where we have it. As far as that, what Kenya Kwanza MCAs want from Ruto? Again, they met for the first time in State House, Nairobi. President to meet all the MCAs. You would imagine meeting the MPs, senators, elected, bringing all the MCAs from across the country to State House to deliberate. That's the highest level of democracy.
We have always insisted and told Kenyans that William Ruto is a Democrat. He is one of the best leaders that we have, not in Africa, but in the world. You see how democratic he is. Actually, he's supposed to meet members of parliament so that they can agenda through parliament and Senate. But he went a step further because it is actually the governors sit. Just like Azimio leader, Raila Odinga, will meet the MPs from his side whenever there is. It is also the governors and the losers of the governor seat that are supposed to meet MCAs and drum up support for it may be in the county assembly. But our president go a step further and even meet them so that they can understand what are the priorities. How will we make county assembly work? How do we make the development work? So that you don't only hear from the Council of Governors every now and then. They may be biased. So he's listening to the ground. You have to listen to your people. Very quickly, let's take a look at what you have on the front page of the BBC here. The BBC, the front page, there's a problem. Let me come back to France 24. On France 24, hunger worsens in Gaza with no end to the war in sight. That is what you have here. The story goes that Palestinians began fasting for the Muslim holy month of Ramadan on Monday with ceasefire talks at standstill, hunger worsening. No end in sight to the war between Israel and Hamas. The United States rather, Qatar and Israel to broker a ceasefire ahead of the normally joyous holiday that would
thousands of Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners, and the entry of a large amount of humanitarian aid. So what is happening in across our borders? That is what we still have here. Some good hope in sight as far as that is concerned. Okay, as Google Play or App Store and download the KBC app. Real-time info on what you really want to get to understand. Like, for example, let's just take a look at this one. Okay, this real-time info urges Europe and other African Africa leaders in partnership to harness. This is what we have. The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged Europe and Africa to work together to harness that will translate into tangible actions for countries. Mudavadi said that prioritizing sustainable, inclusive growth and fostering collaboration across sectors, both regions can unlock a way for a brighter future. So he was in Denmark, where President William Ruto at that particular function. Mudavadi is in Denmark to present William Ruto. I mean, Kenya is doing pretty fine outside there in Erla. What is the face and how is Kenya being seen to the Assembly of East Africa?
My friend Victor, you know, I used to wear green flag of Kenya because I was loyal to Kenya. At the moment, I'm very patriotic to the East. So I rather prefer that you ask me about the East African Community Economic Bloc, rather than one unit within East Africa. Kenya is just one of the units. It is the big brother in East African Community Economic Bloc, but being a patriot to the East African community,
you're loyal.
Then I rather you ask me about the East African Economic Bloc. Yes.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.